Get ready for the biggest plot twist ever. Some of you know, 18 months ago, my cycle stopped. And within a couple of months of that, after going to the doctors and really not feeling well at all, I was told, and through my blood work as well, so evidence that my hormones had plummeted, and that I was told by three different doctors that I had gone through early menopause. All three of those doctors offered to put me on antidepressants because of where my headspace was at and the brain fog and all the things that I was experiencing. And so really the last like 12 to 14 months have been me sort of coming to terms with that, letting go of that, and also navigating this new space that I've been in where I've had very low energy. I've gone through vertigo, had styes breaking out in my eyes, really bad joint pain, all this kind of stuff, to the point where I eventually decided to go on to hormone replacement therapy, even though it wasn't a first choice of mine. I never thought I'd go on it. And I have to admit, it helped. So I've been on it for about 4 months now, just over 4 months, and it definitely has taken away the brain fog. I've definitely still felt anxious, more anxious than I've ever felt in my life. But I've just continued to search for answers. And so I've been having acupuncture, I've been trying to do breath work, all these kind of things that I know are beneficial for me. So here we go. This is where it gets crazy. So probably about just under 4 weeks ago now, I started studying with this amazing human being called Peter Crone. And I'm on his Freedom platform on his website, which gives me access to all of the kind of workshops that he's done and he's recorded. One of them was around health, and his background and something that he's studied and very much promotes and believes in is Ayurvedic medicine. So after watching it, after going on a few websites, after researching it, even though I've heard of Ayurveda before, I've never really understood it. I know there's doshas and I know they're kind of three different body types, all this kind of stuff, but I didn't know what it was. So I did a couple of online quizzes that kind of showed me some results, which were actually incorrect. So don't trust the website. You've actually got to go to a doctor. But yeah, I ended up finding an amazing doctor called Dr. Shivani in Seaforth here in Sydney. And I booked in to see her. And from the minute I met her, I just had such good vibes. I just had such a good feeling. Within 20 minutes, she had described to me symptoms that nobody else had been able to explain that I had. And by the end of the consultation, she actually said to me, you have a vata imbalance, and I actually believe your cycle's going to come back. And I literally was like, my jaw just dropped the floor because, I've been processing a lot over the last 18 months. I've been letting go of that part of my life, letting go of, having kids, all that kind of stuff. And that's been grieved now. So that's another story. I'm not back on that train. But basically, I've been through 18 months of madness, like absolute madness. And when I've described my menopause symptoms to so many people and the fact that it happened so quickly, I really didn't have perimenopausal symptoms. My periods just stopped. That's really what happened. God, no one could really understand why it happened so quickly. No one could give me an answer for why things plummeted in the way that they did until I saw Dr. Shivani. Essentially, what I have is what's called a vata imbalance. And if you're not familiar with that, I'm not going to do a hash job of explaining it. But essentially, in Ayurvedic medicine, there are three doshas, which are your body types, and they are vata, pitta, and kapha. And that's really all I'm going to say right now, because I'll bodge it up and offend someone who's actually an Ayurvedic doctor. But essentially, a vata imbalance in my body is where it's really affected my liver, my colon, and my large intestine. And it's where things are just out of balance for various reasons. And I believe there's stress and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to cut to the plot twist because this is going on and it can go on for ages. But my doctor said to me, we're probably going to get your cycles back. I walked out in disbelief. She gave me a very strict program of what I had to do. which is very specific to an individual. So I'm not going to share too much about it because it might not be what's going on with you. But essentially, it involved a specific kind of breath work, lots of oil, really making sure my body was like lubricated inside and out. So, like lots of oily foods, lots of ghee, oil through my nose, sesame seed oil on my body. And then all my food has to be warm. I can't eat cold food. And there's reasons why for that. Anyway, for possibly 5 days after I started this program, I got my cycle. After 18 months, after being told, you've gone through early menopause, this is just the symptoms, you've just got to deal with it. I actually realized now the symptoms were caused because my body was not absorbing food and processing nutrients and absorbing nutrients in the way that it was. I have had to have 2 iron infusions in the last 6 months, which, the doctor kind of said to me, you could eat 5 steaks a day. The Ayurvedic doctor said you could eat 5 steaks a day and you're not going to absorb enough iron because it's actually an issue with your gut. It's actually an issue with your digestive system. And so we are now 4 weeks in to this program that I'm doing with my Ayurvedic doctor. It's amazing. I like, even, I would love for my cycles to come back normally. But where I'm at right now is I am just so happy to finally have answers. I'm also really happy because my body is actually getting what it needs. It wasn't HRT that it needed. It's all the healing and all the warm foods and all the oils and the breath work, and it's everything that I'm doing for it now is actually healing my organs. So essentially the way I see it is my brain, being really clever, could over time was trying to give me signals and tell me that all my these 3 organs weren't working properly. But because I was ignoring it, because I was just like, oh, I feel a bit off today and I feel a bit tired and I'm low energy. And why does everyone else have energy and I don't? Because that was where I was at. And I was just pushing through. What my brain did very cleverly is go, right, well, let's cut off anything that's non-essential to keeping you alive. And so my cycle went and my hormones went, and that's why things happen really quickly, because it dropped really quickly. So watch this space. I don't know what is ahead, but what I can tell you categorically right now is if you are having any kind of, not even hormones, not even anything to do with your cycle, you don't even have to be menopausal, but if there's anything in your life where you just don't feel right, please seek out an Ayurvedic doctor. Because, and again, this is not slamming the Western world. Like, the Western doctors are incredible. I've got so much respect for the time and energy and effort and money they've put in. And also they all, the fact that 99% of doctors and nurses do it because they want to help people. And so I really, really get that. But where the Western world is, the Western medical system is failing is, it's like, take this medicine, take this pill. And, if 2 people with a cold go into a doctor's and a Western doctor, and they will both be given the same treatment, which is, here, take this pill, go home, have some rest, drink lots of water. In Ayurveda, if 2 people go to the doctor with a cold, they will be treated as individual. They'll have their tongue looked at, they'll have their pulse taken, they'll be asked lots of questions. It will be based on their dosha. And so they are treated differently for that cold because there are different imbalances in their body. And I think the Western medicine world really needs to wake up and realize that all these ancient medicines, the Chinese medicine, Ayurveda from India, we need to start really not refer to this as alternative medicine and actually see this as medicine as well. And I just think they can work together, because I can't even imagine what it would be like. I've been through 18 months of, not feeling great, but at least it wasn't like a terminal illness or some illness that's been allowed to escalate and that I've been misdiagnosed with, which is what could happen. So I can totally see how things get misdiagnosed. I can totally see that when you're looking at evidence, when you're just looking at evidence and kind of going, this is what's happened, so this is what it must be, misdiagnoses are going to happen. I'm not angry with the medical world. I'm not, I'm grateful that I got to go on HRT, but I also am very aware that if I hadn't had the finances, which actually I don't, this year has just wiped me out, but if I hadn't had the finances to seek additional information and try and find more answers, then I would never have got to Ayurveda. So I hope when you find this video that you share it. Please share it to anyone who's going through any kind of sickness. Like, another crazy thing is when you have a vata imbalance, if it's left untreated, which mine could have been because I was taking HRT and feeling okay. A lot of vata imbalances can actually escalate into chronic diseases and life-threatening diseases. So if you are not feeling right in your body, if you really are getting signals and your body's flaring up, or you're just feeling off, or you're dizzy or anything like that, please, please, please don't just take one answer for it and be dismissed. Like, please investigate. If you have the resources, please seek out an Ayurvedic doctor, in addition to Western doctors. Like, I'm not poo-pooing, I'm just saying we need to be aware and we need to take responsibility for our health. And if you are not feeling well, it is your responsibility to keep searching for answers. And if you don't have the resources, you can go to the library, you can go on YouTube, you can find books, you can find people who are talking about this stuff, and you can do what you can to take care of yourself. So I really hope this helps you. Please, please, please share it. Share it to anyone who's going through any kind of chronic illness and is just looking for answers, because Ayurveda is all about health, where the Western medical world is about treating people who are sick. And so Ayurveda is about getting you to avoid being sick, or getting you from sickness into health. So let's work together. Let's spread this video, have a look on some websites, do some research, and, don't settle for just one diagnosis. Like, keep looking, keep the search, and let's just keep healing together and for each other as well. Sending you so much love. Oh, just so much love. I'm heading out for my friend's birthday, so I will speak to you soon. Take care of yourselves. So much love as always.